Alright, so what is up guys? In the previous session we learned about what are for loops, how do we use for loops and where do we use for loops. We even used for loops to get the number of objects or instances from a folder in the workspace. I think yeah, we also used a for loop for getting the elements of an array. And so in this session we'll be learning about what are while loops. I've written 3 questions here. What are while loops? How do we use while loops? Where do we use while loops? So what are while loops? While loops are those kind of loops which has a condition in the starting and it keeps running the code until the condition is false. So till the condition is true, it will keep running the code inside it, and once the condition becomes false, it stops the whole loop and it moves on to the next line. So here I'll be writing a general syntax for the while loop. It goes like this. I'll be defining a variable called local a equals 1. Syntax for while loop is while condition. So the condition I'll be putting here is a less than equal to 10, do print a plus 1, task.wait. So in this case, for this loop, for the while loop, we used a variable I, and we initially declared it as I equals to 1 till the final value, which is 10, and put the increment or decrement, which is plus 1 or minus 1. In this loop, while loop, we just put the condition, and for the increment or decrement we put it inside the code, because as I told you for the definition of while loop, which is if the condition is true, it keeps running this code again and again and again till this condition is false. So once this condition is false, it exits the loop and goes to the next line. So for this while loop, it keeps happening like really fast. So in order to like slow it down or make it compatible for the device so the device does not hang, I will put task.wait as 0.1. And if I run this, alright, so in the output you can see here it prints 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. If you don't put this task.wait, this line, your whole Roblox Studio will crash. The reason is because this while loop, it runs so fast that your entire computer, it starts hanging, it starts crashing. So in order to slow this down so your device can run the code, we'll put a task.wait. You can increase this to 1, but it depends on the code you're doing or whatever you're writing. If you're writing for a round script, it depends on the time here. So what task.wait does is that it tells the compiler to wait for that much of time. Like here I've 1 second. So it tells the compiler, okay, check this condition, okay, print a. Initially we have declared as 1, and then a plus c equals to 1, which increments the value of a by 1 every time. So once it comes here, it becomes 2, value of a becomes 2, and it waits 1 second, goes back to the condition, checks again, 2 is less than equals to 10, which is true, prints a, which is 2 here in the output, and you can see a plus c equals to 1, which is a equals to 3, and then so on. So this is the general syntax for while loop. Alright, so here I'll be creating a variable, not a variable, I'll be creating an instance called as int value, and I'll be putting in the workspace. If I were to change the value of this by 1 and declare a variable called a, alright, so here I've made a small script. I've inserted an instance called int value inside of the workspace, and I've put the initial value as 0. I'll create a variable called a, which defines the location of this value, which is workspace find first child value, and in the condition of the while loop, I've written a dot value less than equals to 10, do a dot value plus equals to 1, which is it increases this value of this instance by 1, and task.wait 1. Where's my cursor, man? Alright, so I think there was a problem here. Alright, so here I've created a print statement, print a dot value. If I were to run this, let me show you guys what happens. So prints 1 2 3 4 5 till 10. So the reason why it's printing so slowly is because I've written this task.wait 1. If again I tell you that if I don't write this task.wait, my whole computer or my laptop is going to crash. So that's the reason why I've run this task.wait 1, and it prints at 11 because less than equals to 10. Alright, so moving on to the next question, which is how do we use while loop. I've just said it here. We start with the while followed by a condition and then do, and then we write the code inside of that and end. That's basically it. I would not suggest you guys to write infinite loops, which is like this loop, like you make a loop which keeps happening, it never stops. So I would not suggest you to do that, but if you were to do that, I'll tell you why would you do that. If you were to do that, let me change the value of a to a boolean value, which is true. So if you remember from my second video, I think it was the data types. I've said about boolean values, and boolean values are just true and false. True and false are used in conditional statements, which is if else, or we can even use it in while loops or for loops or whatsoever. We're not for loops, while loops only. So here, if I were to continuously run this loop, which it doesn't stop at all, like I have zero conditions. If I were to keep doing it, I will do it as while a do task.wait1 high. So it keeps printing high, high, high. You can see this. If you click this arrow, it shows high, 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 high. So this script will never stop. It will print. It will keep printing high till like 1,000, whatever. There's no number. Alright, so instead of declaring a variable for the boolean value true, we can just write true here, and it's gonna do the same thing. If I were to remove this, let me put it as comment. If I were to run this, it will still say high, 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 high. So that was basically it for the while loop. The next question will be, where do we use while loop? We actually use it during round scripts. You know, those like round scripts where like you can take an example for murder mystery 2. So if all the players die, then they go to the lobby, and then the whole thing starts over again, which is voting, and then players get spawned into the map, and then if the sheriff shoots the murderer, then it's a victory, and then players go to the lobby, vote again. So it's like a loop kind of, which never ends. So that's why we use while loop. We even use it for endless modes. Endless modes such as, let's say, if I were to keep increasing the... Why is this not working? Something is happening to my Roblox Studio, man. I don't know what happened. So we're back. I don't know, something happened to my Roblox Studio. It just crashed all of a sudden. I have no idea why. Alright, so yeah, that was what I was saying. If you don't put task away, it's gonna crash and you won't be able to do anything. You just have to, Alt F4, close Roblox Studio, open it again, and start the game once again. We use a while loop for endless modes. That is, if I were to change the clock time, like make it into night, I will just click on this lighting, and there's a property of lighting which says here clock time. Yeah, so if I were to increase this, it will say it'll be night, and then if I go back, it says it goes to morning, afternoon, evening, and night. So if I were to keep doing that, I will use a while loop, infinite while loop. So here I'll be declaring a variable. I will teach you guys how to do this lighting script, which changes your game from morning to night, and it keeps repeating that. So if it goes to night, it goes to morning, and then morning to night, whatsoever. So here I've created a variable called lighting. I call the service lighting, and put a true as a condition for while loop, which tells the while loop to continuously run it irrespective of the condition, because I've written the condition as true. The inside code will be lighting.clocktime equals to lighting.clocktime plus 0.01. So that's basically it. Task.wait 0.005. The reason why I've given such a small value for task.wait is because I want the lighting to be smooth, really smooth. So if I were to run this, it will be like this. It slowly goes to morning. Let me remove all this. It goes to morning slowly, afternoon. You can see the sun moving. This is afternoon, and it's gonna be evening soon. And then night, yeah. And then once it's night, it goes back to morning once again. So it goes to morning again. This is night. It goes back to morning. Alright, so that was it basically for the while loop. If you guys have any doubts or queries or whatsoever, you can reach out to me in the comment section. Till then, stay safe. Bye bye.